Hi everybody, welcome to My Big Tidy Up. My name's DeDe. Thanks for checking out my channel today. Now today there is one thing that's going to get accomplished in this video, and that is the Q&A. Now I know I was going to do a Q&A probably about 6 weeks ago and a lot has happened, but the Q&A is happening today. And I went back and looked. Well, it's been almost a year since I did the last Q&A. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, so no wonder you were wanting one. And we have a lot of new tidy uppers, so I will be doing that today, but I'm adding a little bit of a twist to it because as I was going through all your questions, one of you asked, could you go through and show us the favorites that you have in each room? Each thing that is your favorite thing in each room. So I'm going to be doing that today because, you know, as far as a Q&A goes, I'm never one that I just like to sit the same spot and answer the same questions. I like to move around, do things, so I'll be doing that today. So without any further ado, let's get this Q&A finally started and let's get tidy. Okay, tidy uppers, I've got the questions and I am ready to get started. Now I've set up here in the den and what I thought I would do is answer a question or two, then I'll show you what's my favorite thing in this room, and then we'll just move from location to location and keep it rolling. Now before I start, let me just say, thank you so much. You guys are the best community. I truly believe there is not a better community out there other than my Big Tidy Up community to do a Q&A with, because you guys send the most interesting, colorful, thought-provoking, unique questions out there. Now, yes, I get questions about how to make videos and how I feel about tidying and different things like that, but you guys will send random things like, do you like this or do you like that? Do you like this or do you like that? If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? So you keep it very interesting, and I just thank you so much for that. And you send in so many questions. I have a lot to choose from, so I will try to get to them all today. If I don't worry, I'll sprinkle them in the next video or two. So question number one, here's one of those interesting ones. Do you name your houseplants or inanimate objects? See? Isn't that fun to think about? Now, we do have a few nicknames for things. The little pool cleaner that skims around the bottom of the pool, we call it the gobbler because, well, you know, it just makes sense. And the pack and play where the little fellas may take a nap, we'll say, oh, they're down sleeping in the nest. We'll call it the nest. Now, Mr. Tidy Up, I will tell you, he is big on nicknames and he nicknames people, and they're all positive things, but they're about their personalities. And so I've even had friends go, I know he's nicknamed me, what's my nickname? We've got one friend, she's very petite and just darling, and she is quite feisty, so he calls her the Chihuahua. We have another friend who's very caring and nurturing and kind of looks out for everybody, so we call her Mother Cluck because she's like the mother duck, making sure everybody's okay. So we do have a few nicknames, and I'm sure there are more than just the gobbler or the nest. And if I think of them, I'm just going to randomly shout them out as we move around, because now that I'm thinking about it, I can't think of them. But we do kind of nickname things, but I don't do plants enough to nickname them, because you wouldn't really nickname an artificial plant, and that's really kind of all I do is artificial plants. So that's that question. Next question. Coffee first or make the bed first? And that's a good question, and it depends on the day of the week. Now, Monday through Friday, we have coffee upstairs in the coffee room. So what happens is Mr. Tidy Up walks across, he starts preparing the coffee, and I start making the bed. And by the time he's got the 2 cups of coffee ready and already got a head start for the next day, adding the new coffee and filter and all of that in the water, then I'm done with the bed. We come in and we sit down almost exactly at the same time and start enjoying our coffee, have our conversations, and start the day. Now on the weekend, it's a little bit different because we usually have coffee down here. Saturday is my sheet cleaning day. So we strip the bed, put it in the washer, get it started, and we sit in here and have Keurigs and use the coffee bar. And so that's how it goes. Monday through Friday, it kind of is the bed's made, and then we have our coffee, and Saturday and Sunday, coffee first, and then we do the bed. So that's it. Okay, friends, I have a lot of things that I truly do love in this room. The rug is a big favorite. I got it from Sam's. It's actually an outdoor rug. But my absolute favorite thing in this room would have to be the fireplace screen. I just love it, and I think it sets the whole tone for the room. And when we changed the paint color and painted the fireplace and added this tile, see, there's gold streaks in it, and it just seemed like when I was looking for a fireplace screen, I got this one from Amazon. It was the perfect fit. To me, it just sets the whole tone for the room. When you step down into this room, it's the first thing you notice. I think it complements the fireplace, but doesn't overtake the fireplace. And it really did determine how I was going to decorate this room, because it caused me to go with the glass and the gold coffee tables, go with all of the gold decor. And it's really kind of my one glam room. Maybe the office is a little glam, but I just love this room, and it's all because of the fireplace screen. Now, as I head into the kitchen, I have two things that are definitely my favorites. One of my favorite things is just this lone little light fixture. I absolutely love it. It's from Amazon, and not all of my favorite things are from Amazon, but a lot of them are. And we used to have the huge big light fixture that's now over the dining room table. Oh my gosh, I hated it in here. It was like a big boat. And once we changed to this small little light fixture, it made the world a difference. It made me even feel different when I was in my kitchen working. So that's a definite favorite. And the second favorite, if you've been with me, you know what's coming. It's this lid organizer. I love it. I have had it for several years, and it has made such a change in keeping things organized in my kitchen. All my little leftover containers, it's so much easier. I just keep the containers in one spot, the lids right in order. I can see everything I have. I'm not trying to put a lid on a container and keep them together like that. It has been a big game changer, and actually, it's probably one of my most favorite things in this entire house. Okay, friends, next questions. Now, I got a lot of this or that, so I'm just going to kind of all group them together. But this or that, stay home or go out, stay home. Sweet or salty, definitely sweet. Book or movie, and don't be mad at me, all my friends in education and my librarian friends on here, but probably a movie. I do enjoy a good book, and the great thing about a book is you can kind of create the characters and envision them your own way. But if there's something I'm really interested in, I'll usually watch the movie because it's a little bit quicker, but probably movie. Rainy or sunny days, I really do like both, but as crazy as it sounds, I really love a good rain. Now, I'm not talking a thunderstorm where it's blowing everything all around, but I love the rain. So I would probably have to say a rainy day. DIY or hire help? Do I really need to answer this? Are y'all new here? Probably hire help. You know, I'd love to be able to do a lot of things ourselves, but Mr. Tidy Up and I, we know our limitations. So unless it's a super simple DIY, most of the time we hire help. A digital planner or paper planner. Now, I have seen those digital planners, and a lot of our family members have those, and boy, they are neat, spread out like that, and you can see everything. But I'm old school. I have a paper planner. I get one every year, and I just like being able to tangibly write it down and mark it off my list. So definitely a paper planner. Reality TV or documentaries. And I think it depends on what you call reality TV. Now, as far as like America's Got Talent, I think of that, I guess that's probably classified reality TV, but I don't think of that as reality TV. I like that show, but I'm not one where it's like all these people living in a house or all these people living on an island. Probably not. I actually like documentaries. I'm kind of that kind of nerd. So I would have to say documentaries, but if you call America's Got Talent reality TV, then I probably like that. And that's the this or that's. And now another one is, what is something you know now that you wish you knew when you were younger? Oh, we don't have enough time in the day. I've learned so much. But I would have to say probably not to sweat the small stuff. You know, when you're younger, it's like the hourglass and you've got all this stuff and you've got all this time ahead of you. And then when you're older, you realize the hourglass is moving fast and most of the sand's at the bottom. And I'm at that point. And so I realized I spent so much time sweating the small things, getting upset over minor things that a week later or a month later, they weren't even relevant. So I would say I have learned just to take each day one at a time and not to sweat the small stuff. Let stuff go. It's really not that important. And when you get back and you look at your life as like a 60-year combination of things, those were such small, little, tiny things. Whew, don't even worry. Don't sweat the small stuff. This too shall pass. It'll move on and there'll be new things. So anyway, I would say that's what I've learned. Don't sweat the small stuff. Now over in here, I would say the same light fixture that I absolutely hated in my kitchen. I love it over here. It's one of my favorite things in this room. And of course, I've got to say my little tree from Hobby Lobby. I just love that little thing. And when I got it, I never thought I would be decorating it, but now it's kind of my thing. So I do love it. And I apologize for the lighting, friends. These are two of my favorite rooms, the dining room and this formal living room. And I rarely come in here to record because the lighting is so bad. But I would have to say right here, this little corner is my favorite in this room. I love the plant, but I really love what I've got on the walls. It's inspirational, but it's not overly wordy. It kind of goes with my theme. It has a natural look to it. So I would say in this room, the artwork on the wall and my plant, those are my favorite things. Okay, more questions. And these questions all came from different people, but they were all kind of similar. They all were about when I was younger. Y'all wanted to know about what little DeDe was like when she was younger. And it had to do a lot with school. One was, in school, were you shy, chatty, or a class clown? I was never a class clown. Maybe the first day of school I was a little bit shy or quiet, but I tended to be chatty. I am still that way. Even when I tell a story, I want to tell all the details. And Mr. Tidy Up will say, honey, just land the plane. Get to the point, because I am pretty chatty. Did you ever get in trouble in school? No, unless talking was getting me in trouble. You know, like on the grade card years ago, you would get pluses if you were doing exceptional in different behaviors. You would get a check if you were doing satisfactory, and then a minus if you needed improvement. I might have got a minus on refrains from unnecessary talking. Maybe more than once, but it was never disrespectful. I was just wanting to share something with my neighbor, I guess. So no, I never got in trouble. And the next question was, were you a rule follower or a rebel? I was definitely a rule follower, unless it was time to be quiet. I might have whispered and broke the rules. And the last one in this kind of category, as a child, what was your favorite go-to snack? And I would say back then, my mother would make little peanut butter toast, you know, where you would toast your bread, put the peanut butter on there, and she would cut it in 4 little squares. And that was like a snack for me. And I just love that. And I still like that to this day, although I don't have it very often. But yeah, I see that peanut butter toast and it takes me back. So that's kind of about my childhood. Oh, I forgot one. Did you keep a diary? And if so, did you ever write anything secretive in it? Well, I had a diary once, and it had the little buckle and the key. You know what happened, I lost the key. So we had to break it open, and it just ruined the whole thing for me, because then it couldn't be top secret because we had to cut the strap because I had lost the key. So that was my one experience with a diary. Maybe I drew in it, but you know, I don't really think I had a big diary because, yeah, it kind of ruined it for me. So there you have it. Now, coming into the office, I would say I pretty much love everything in this whole room, and we know I should because we all know I've been in and out of this room for a long time tweaking it, but I do love the combination of the pink and gray, and especially where I have my side that's more pink, and then Mr. Tidy Up's side is more gray. But I do love all of the marble in here. I think it really balances everything out. And the marble pieces I either got at HomeGoods or the at-home store. But as much as I love everything on the shelf, probably my favorite things are the little gold lights in the windows. I love them because they're cordless. I love them because you just tap them and you can adjust them, and you could go from bright white to a gold soft white, and it really can make the room look cozy, because if you're a YouTuber, you know all of the light bulbs in your house are daylight, so everything looks so light. So that's why I love those lamps so much. And here in this half bath, I would have to say the mirror is probably my favorite thing. I don't do too much in here. There's not a lot of decorating or decor to choose from or to pick from, and I'm not a great big fan of a pedestal sink, but this is the most popular bathroom in the home. It gets used more than any other place, and I would have to say the mirror is a winner. Now headed into this little entryway by the garage, and I know this is not an official room, but remember when I had that massive brown, dark, gothic looking nightstand squeezed in here? Well, this is one of my favorite pieces now. I got it on clearance from Hobby Lobby. I used a gift card, and I'm just so happy with it. And it's just such a nice little piece of furniture to greet you when you come in from the garage. I just love it. And here in the laundry room, well, my favorite thing is when I see an empty laundry basket. But other than that, probably my favorite thing would have to be our makeshift pantry. And I know we've been in here a lot, so I won't do a whole bunch of talking about my pantry. But this little area that we have designed as our food pantry and small appliance pantry and paper goods, it really has made a world of difference, and it works for us. Okay, time for more answers to your questions. And all of these questions I've kind of grouped together have to do with cleaning or my cleaning routines, keeping tidy. So the first question is, what is your favorite cleaning gadget or tool? And I would have to say it's my DeDe Robo Vacuum. Now, I do believe, in my personal humble opinion, that a corded vacuum or a stick vacuum does clean better than a Robo Vac. But I think it's a great way to maintain your floors between times where you can do all of that. I just think it's a quick maintenance and it makes me feel like I'm doing something in my home when I'm really not. So I would have to say my DeDe Robo Vacuum. And another question is, how do you keep yourself motivated to tackle your to-do list when you just aren't feeling it? And you know, that does happen quite often. I know we've all been there. I know that this question came from a place where we've all felt that way. And so what I really try to do, I do make a list because I am kind of a list person. That's my nature. But I just know it's an outline and that if I don't get it done, I just move it to the next day. But what I really try to do is just prioritize, and I try to do the thing that is going to make the biggest impact. It's going to be that thing that I walk in the room and I can tell the difference. That's why a lot of times inside our cabinets don't always get the attention they need, because we're looking for that dopamine hit where we get everything on the outside that we can see all of the time, so we get that feeling of satisfaction, and I'm no different than anybody else. So a lot of times I try to do the thing that has the most impact, and then that kind of spurs me on. It gives me a little boost, a little encouragement, like, you can keep going, DeDe. But honestly, there are things on my to-do list that don't get done. They get moved to the next day, maybe even the next week, but I just try to prioritize, do the things that will make the biggest impact, and move on. Now, another question I got is, if your junk drawer could talk, what would it say? Well, it would probably say, get out of here and quit putting random things in there. But I have tried to keep it a little bit more organized, and I've kind of sorted it into zones. But I don't know that I've ever heard my junk drawer speak to me. But I think if it did, it would say, stay out of here. That has a home. Go find another place for it. Quit putting miscellaneous stuff in my drawers. Now this area right here is one of those places, it's not a room, but you almost have to decorate it like it is. It's the landing, and I struggled for the longest time to find a piece that would go in this spot because I wanted something that would fit here that wasn't super wide, and when you were downstairs, you could see this spot, and so it looked very blank when we didn't have anything here. Well, I finally found the perfect item. It wasn't too wide, it didn't stick out, and then I got the artwork, and both of those came from Amazon, and I just love it. It really is one of my favorite things in my entire home. And this may be one of my most favorite rooms in my home, and it's very bland. It's nothing fancy, but this is our quiet coffee room. It's where we sit and have coffee in the morning, and without a doubt, one of my favorite places in this whole entire home is the coffee closet. It just makes it so convenient. We've got everything we need right up here to make coffee. We keep extra waters in the little refrigerator. So I would have to say this coffee closet, it may be a closet, but it's my favorite thing. Now, in this bathroom, I really don't have a favorite thing, and it's not because I don't love this bathroom. And it wasn't that long ago that we redid it. The reason why I don't have what I would call a favorite thing in this room is because it's very neutral, it's very minimalistic, it's streamlined, and I really didn't want anything to stand out. I didn't want to walk in here and go, oh, wow. I just wanted to walk in here and go, oh, this is peaceful. Now here in our primary bedroom, I would say the lamps are a favorite. I got those from Home Depot, and probably the chair over by the fireplace. I got that from Walmart. But as far as something that's structural, I would say since I painted the fireplace white, it really did make a difference. And so the fireplace is one of my favorite things in this room, although it does limit where I can put the bed. And I would say the French doors that lead out to the balcony, they're a definite favorite too. Okay, time for a few more questions, and these all have to do with YouTube itself. The first question is, what is your favorite part about making a YouTube video? And I would have to say my favorite part is probably the editing, where I take all those little clips and I put them all together and I transition from doing something in this room to that room and that process. The filming probably is one of my least favorite things because I'm having to move the camera around, I'm having to make sure that I'm in the shot, that there's nothing to distract you in the background, or that if I'm doing something, I've got the camera where you can actually see what I'm doing. So I would have to say editing is probably my favorite part. Next question, have you ever had a behind the scenes video fail? Yes, I have. I was doing a cleaning video and I'm so mad I didn't keep that because it would have been such a great blooper to have, but I was talking about doing slow vacuuming. And if you're not sure what slow vacuuming what it is, it really is just what it says it is. It's vacuuming very slow, and you take your time and you allow that suction to go over an area, then you go back over it, and then you turn directions, and you will be shocked at how much you can get out of a carpet that you think is actually clean. And so I was doing that as kind of showing some spring cleaning and some cleaning tips, and I was showing the difference and that it didn't matter if you used a corded vac or if you used a stick vacuum. I was demonstrating slow vacuuming. And so I was running the vacuum real slow, and it was a corded vacuum. And how I set it up was I just vacuumed regular to show you, and the canister was empty. Then I went back and I showed you a slow vacuum, and I was going to lift up and show you the canister and take the camera in where you could see how much a difference slow vacuuming made. And I went to pull up on that thing and that canister fell and it was all over. I had black pants on, it was all over me. And I just kind of looked like that in the camera. And I had lost all of my evidence to show how good it had done. I was covered with stuff from probably my chest all the way down. And so I ended up editing it out. And now I'm mad that I did that because that would have been such a hilarious blooper. But that failed. That was definitely a big fail. And the last question is, what is one of the nicest comments that a subscriber has ever left you? And that's hard to say because you guys are so kind to me and you're so encouraging to me. But I would have to say the one that really sticks out with me wasn't about a video. It was on my YouTube community page. And everybody uses their YouTube community page for different things. They have it set up where you can kind of show what's coming up to keep your audience involved so they can, you can promote your next video or your next project. But I try to post on mine several times a day, and I try to do inspirational things. And I want you to see what I've got coming up next. And I always let you know Thursday what I've got going on for the Friday video. But my goal and what I've been using my YouTube community page for is just to inspire you, to keep you encouraged. And someone had left me the kindest comment saying that they suffered and they were having really dark days, and that those posts kept them going, it kept them encouraged. And I screenshot that comment. And that's not something I do very often. And I've kept that. So that's my why when I'm thinking, oh, I haven't posted, or, oh, maybe I'll skip today. That person is my why. That's why I do it. And so I would have to say it really isn't my YouTube channel, but it is my YouTube community page that I try to post on several times a day. And that was the nicest comment, that I kept them going and I encouraged them through really dark days. And so that made it all worth it to me. As far as the primary bathroom, I do love that it's spacious. I love that there's 2 sinks. Everybody's got their own area. I like that it has a separate tub and a separate shower. Now, as far as the lighting goes, all of the lighting that's in here was original when the house was built, except for the chandelier over the tub. And we put that in, and what I love about it, it really looks like the other lighting except just the upside down version of it. So that is a favorite thing for me in here. Now, as far as decor pieces go, I would have to say my bath tray is still one of my favorite things. I just love it. I think it makes it look a little bit more upscale, and I feel like I'm spoiling myself, even though I don't use a lot of the stuff on there all the time. And my bamboo boxes that hold my cosmetics. Those two things are definitely favorites in this room, and the room just wouldn't feel the same without the tray or the boxes. Well, Tidy Uppers, that's a wrap for today. Now, if you've been with me a while, you might be thinking, hey, DeDe, you didn't go downstairs and show us any of your favorite things down there. Well, you are right, Tidy Uppers, and the reason I didn't is because we've got a project underway down in the basement. And don't worry, I won't leave you hanging very long. I'll be sharing it in an upcoming video real soon. Now, if I missed your question today, don't you worry about that, because I will be adding any question I didn't get answered into the next video or two. I promise. If you sent me a question, it definitely will get answered. I appreciate you being here today. Please take care of yourself, and until I see you in the next one, stay tidy.